Alright, welcome to Raising Funds for World Domination, day number 330. Once again, there were no updates on these items. Although I finished and rendered new shorts that I scheduled for 1 week from today. So we will continue with work on the terminal block mining simulation game. Orthoplex 64, how's it going? So yesterday I started work on like a generic state machine class. So I'm going to use that to compartmentalize the state machine. So I realized that it makes sense for there to be a separate state machine for a chunk, but then each client will have its own life cycle. So you could have two different clients that are subscribed to the same chunk, or one, or neither. So I'm going to have a lot more classes now. The radiator's buzzing really loud. Okay, so this is the generic state machine class. Shoseki says, good evening. How's it going? LWK to Ised says, hola everyone. How's it going? Okay, so I have a generic state machine. Okay, I guess I should make that an abstract class. So I can move a bit of the complexity somewhere else. Going well, sir. Excellent. Hope you're well. Yeah, today's pretty good. Also, Norman, 8050. And Robert and everyone. How's it going? Alright, hopefully this approach works. It's getting complicated. Already been 10 months since you started raising funds for world domination. YouTube filtered this message. Wow. Well, that just confuses me so much. Like, it makes me wonder, is it a mistake in the filtering? Or like surely YouTube's AI is smart enough to understand that would be appropriate. Like, what would possibly... I don't know, it's either incompetence or there's some kind of like 5D chess that it's playing. It's trying to suppress. I don't even know what the angle would be if it was trying to suppress that information. Anyone seen the song Breathing Elon Musk's? Fun jam at him. And I like world domination. Probably in their filter list. Oh, that could be why. Maybe thinks you're really trying world domination. Who said I'm not? Hence it doesn't give you the views you deserve. Yeah, that's not fair. I have a right to take over the world like everyone else. That's it, 100%. Shadow banned. It's no fun. They won't let... I'd be a nice dictator. Okay, that works. oligarchs don't like fun and thoughtful humanity-based things. Yeah, I guess. Everyone says there'll be a nice dictator, then they start raising the price of donuts. All goes downhill. Well, I don't know. There have been some good leaders in the past, but they'll get replaced by malevolent ones. Can't think of anything more tedious than being responsible for the well-being of an entire country. I just want to make cool stuff, live a reasonable lifestyle. Yeah, I think that's I think it goes along with the saying that people get promoted to their level of incompetence. But something I've noticed from like people in management, like even just seeing administrators in a particular, building or office or something who are responsible for like life-altering decisions of other people, like at a school administration, like deciding who passes and fails and who gets deported, and there are like the average person who would like take those decisions seriously would probably disqualify themselves from that position, and like extremely overconfident people who thought they were doing, like people who had this like some mental weakness where they like blindness where they thought they were making great decisions, but they were like really they're just not doing the work at all. Those are the people who end up in those positions because like the anxiety of like when I was at the college, there were all kinds of like 90% of the students, they come in, they're unremarkable. They come in, they write their exams, they submit some assignments and stuff, and they get a grade, and they're gone. And then the remaining 10% would be like outstanding students, or students who are kind of like marginal, or like where there's stuff would happen where they'd say like, hey, I got in a car accident today, and I can't write the exam. And then you got to do all this extra work for, like the student missed the exam, or that like something bad happened to them and it's not their fault, and now you have to think about like, okay, how do I adjudicate on this fairly, or like stuff where there was one student who was very he was a very good student, and there was another student who I'm pretty sure this other student stole the good student's work, because these people didn't interact with each other, but they had like an identical assignment, and the other student who had no idea what he's doing somehow ended up with the good student's assignment and like didn't change some of it. He like deleted a couple lines and it didn't even work. And I remember one of the faculty was like let's just fail both of them or something and just call it a day. But that now you're potentially punishing a good student who may not have done something wrong. Maybe someone accessed his computer or something. And there's just thousands of decisions like that. If you take the time to like do what's right, it takes so much more time and effort. But it's so much easier to say, whatever. Who's the president in South America? American nation that gave 90% of his wage away and live a pretty humble life. More good than bad in the world, but good doesn't amass wealth and power as well. Yeah, I mean, I think we're kind of like we're in a late cycle situation where if you don't ruthlessly attempt to accrue wealth and power and voting power, then you're not going to make it politically. Google AI account 1 says computer, laptop, exclamation mark. Okay. Strength begets strength, but the power law is a real thing. Top few percent take everything. Not just talking about wealth. Top percent of YouTubers, Twitch streamers. It's why everyone is so clout hungry. Yeah, I guess that's what I need to do. I gotta start some arguments with other streamers. Get some beef going. Remember to like and subscribe. That's good advice. Actually, have you heard the term kayfabe? Kayfabe? Before? Nope, I've not. Don't forget to like the stream. Let's see, we got 2 likes. I think it's usually like around 9 or something, 9 or 10. It's the term used in WWE for wrestlers who start beef. Drama is part of the show. Yeah, I guess maybe I should take I should take some inspiration from that. I've never heard that term before. I have to Google that. I know that they put a lot of work into the whole into the theatrics of that show. I remember Donald Trump is always in it too. Someone just, oh yeah, 2 people like the stream. Awesome. Thank you very much. gonna try not to say like the stream whenever I'm here and refresh the page. After like 10 minutes and write down how many were gained. TF, are you doing, dog? I am currently working on developing a terminal-based video game. What are you up to? You're in the live stream. Congrats. Now you can like it. Just like the other 4 people who just liked the stream. Then it'll be at 7. We're still at 6. Just need 1 more like. We'll be at 7. Oh, another viewer just came in. Maybe they'll like the stream. It'll go to 7. It'll be at 6. We go from 6 to 7. Any second now. It's gonna be 7. Six, 7. It could be 6, 7. You just need to click a like on the stream, and then it'll go to 7. You'll be the one to make it 6, 7. I guess it's a pretty good ratio overall. We only get 8 concurrent viewers, 6 likes. Oh, I guess we're not going to get to 7. Okay, what I want to do is I want a static method, but I want it to be abstract. Maybe that's not possible. Oh, there we go. We're at 7. 6, 7. So what I want to do is for this general type, for the general type U, I want a static method that will give you an enumeration of all the states that are possible. Can you make abstract variables so that you can only make abstract function headers? I realized you're doing multiple inheritance. Didn't think Java supported that. Let's see. So multiple inheritors. I don't think it does. But okay, this thing here is using, what do you call it, generics? So it's a state machine. So state machine has like 2 parameters. I want a generic state machine for 2 different parameters. There's a type of object, and then a state machine state. So there's no, I guess there's 2 extends here, so it looks like it's the state machine as extending both, but it's the T is extending this, and U is extending that. Wait, your VM is that small? Yeah, this is the kind of simple UI format that I came up with. It's been on my to-do list to make a better one, but honestly, streaming has not produced the revenue I'd hoped it would. So I'm probably gonna continue this series until day 365, and then I'll probably conclude it, and then I'll probably do different live streams in the future, but probably less frequently. So generics are doing the extending? Yeah. Oh yeah, and it also, what I learned yesterday was, what I actually want is I want T implements comparable, U implements state machine state. And I tried doing implements in a generic, and I guess if you're doing that within generics, it means the same thing. So I just Googled like how to add implements in as a template parameter, and the Stack Overflow is just use extends. And I'm like, okay, because I guess the compiler treats them the same in this case. That's an area where I'm not, I don't have enough knowledge about Java. It's just, or maybe it's a quirk. Makes sense. GNOME is a resource, Sogar. Yeah, it's right now I'm developing on like a crappy old laptop, so even the display for it is not that great, and also to have something that displays the UI well. Like I'm just screen capturing the actual YouTube user interface. The better way to do it would be like hook into some better OBS setup. But I think the version of OBS that came on Ubuntu was like the default one didn't really. The newest version has integration with chat or something, but that's I didn't have that installed, and I could look at all this working, but it's just such a pain to upgrade to the latest version and stuff, which I'll do eventually. Comparable is an interface, correct? I think so. So for other stuff like for this class, yeah, implements cuboid address. So anything I want to put in an app, I always do. If I want to put it in a map, I do implements and then comparable of that thing. I guess I could get it working and then try see what happens when I change that to extends. But yeah, I haven't thought too hard about the difference. So the solution you could have, stream your TTY as UDP, then an OBS, and the VLC player, and consume UDP stream. Stream your TTY as UDP. Maybe. I guess that would be. There's probably a bunch of interesting things I could do. I did look into like how to. That would be kind of an interesting thing is experimentation with streaming, like getting into like the programmatic custom overlays and stuff. There's all kinds of fun experiments I could do with that. That might be something that I could actually. That might actually build some momentum. Is like make some fun interactive things, or even if I had it like, the stream overlay was like hooked into something that was aware. So like if you buy something in the store, it would come up and notify. But I just do not have time to implement anything like that at the moment. And I don't get any sales anyway. WinRAR game. Your block mining game. WinRAR. I know what WinRAR was. That was a program to open RAR files. But what is a WinRAR game? Are you comparing my game to WinRAR? Adascout says yellow. Basically, FFmpeg is the thing that streams your TTY as UDP. I can upload my demo setup if you like. If you want, I guess I am curious about that. But at the same time, I have so much going on at the moment. There's probably no way I'll have time to look at it now. Eventually, once I finish this stream series, I may look into like coming back and improving. Like right now, the streams don't get many views, or I think they're actually hurting the channel metrics. But maybe in the future, I can try again with like better production quality and more interesting content. You say if it's past 30 days, then you must renew. You renew your the license. Is that the WinRAR license? No, interesting. I didn't know. Okay, let's try to implement this. Invalid method declaration. Return type required. Oh, that's it. Content grind continues. Yep. You gotta constantly upload and stream and broadcast. State machine 65. Oh. Spread the word of the new society in northern Canada. Yes, I need to get more people on board for the whole Axel Heiberg initiative. Where we can have a nice electronics prototyping area. and there's some more. Kind of have like a gaming cafe in an old mall. Use the software for a temporary one-time trial period up to 30 calendar days. After these 30 days have elapsed, the individual must either become a patron or stop using the software. Shortened it? I forget the original text. Does it have the same legal content then? Oh, excellent. I can do that. I have an abstract static method. YouTube filter your comment again. I don't know, YouTube really doesn't like whatever you're saying. Software license law is Greek to me. It might also be in the other, it's on like live chat right now, but if you go to like, what is it? Oh, or no, it's on top chat. And then the other one is called live chat, I think. Ping to an email. All right, thanks. I'll check it later. Hopefully, if it didn't go into spam, if it went into spam, I might miss it. But you can remind me later if I don't respond in a couple days. Java was once my happy place. Now it's C in free Artos land. I kind of went the other way. I started off doing a lot more C and doing like some toy microkernel stuff. I got tired of doing like string concatenation in C and null and like memory corruption errors. Just coded up Pascal string com packet for fiber optic UART connection. Nice. That sounds pretty interesting. I wish I had more time to play around with those kinds of embedded projects. Doing like raw data layer communication is an interesting thing. I don't see a lot of like prior art about how to build that kind of stuff on the internet. Personally, my perfect setup would be to use OBS as a way to set up configurations, layered scenes, and do everything headless. I think for the most, like if you want to do if you want to go like super headless, it can make sense to like the most reusable approach is going to be the lowest effort, is like use like a VM with like an in-memory frame buffer, you could have a Docker container or a virtual machine in VirtualBox that's running like on a server, but the display is just set to like the frame buffer or something. And then you could prototype it. You could prototype the whatever you're doing with a display attached. And then once you're confident it works, then you can just run it totally in memory. And then if something goes wrong, you can like connect to the VM. I'm so done fiddling bits with bit masks. Yeah, I guess depending on how you coded that and what kind of hardware is involved, it could be quite a bit of work. I forget how. It's been a while since I worked with a UART. Okay, so I'm encountering a problem. The problem is chunk memory state. So it's complaining that this doesn't implement the method, which is correct, because I said it has to implement the generic method. But what I really want is it should implement the type, or should return the specific type, which is what I have here. Because really what I don't actually want this. Oh, I could just cast it. That would work. Hard blind, cast for the win. Yep, it should be okay. I think at this part of the code, there's no way it'll be anything else. Okay, will that work? Generic cast? I forget exactly what you call the cast, but I'm using some generics and also inheritance together. And also an abstract static method. Make up words when it comes to Java. Half the times it halfway works. Only 35 days till Domination anniversary. Yes, it's true. Makes it a quarter correct. That's not very correct. Okay, what's going on? Chunk memory state 51. Used to be our happy place, and it still could be. Nice. We got a super chat tonight from reliable James Goodrich. Rock used Crumble. It was not super effective. Oh, is that a Pokemon? I would imagine it's not effective. I don't even know if that's like a real Pokemon thing or not. Just added a logger to the app. Added a logger to the app and spammed the server. I don't know. I don't have any insights on that. Okay, for each not applicable. Oh, entry set. Entries or entry set? Entry. So you're short about games. Wanted to ask something about game development. Do you have any tips for optimizing, especially for Sprite and 2D games? I would say, to be perfectly honest, I'm actually not a great person to ask about games specifically. Most of my perspective and approach is from like a very academic context. So I assume that was the one about using the multi-threading. So a lot of that is kind of, influenced from my time writing like microkernels and doing like OS specific stuff. You mentioned optimizing, especially for Sprite and 2D games. I would say the best thing that you should do is use a profiler. So when you want to optimize something, invest the time. Like it depends what language you're writing. What language are you writing the game in? Because if you, and often there's a learning curve to figuring out the profiler. But just learn what it is, and then whatever you're building, compile it with debug symbols. Hacks. I'm not familiar with that. Is that one of those like kind of game maker pieces of software? Just make the sprites cost 0 memory and have no latency. That's a good idea, but it might be hard to accomplish that. Not sure what to look into to optimize it. Yeah, that's where a profiler is really important. So like, if you had a more specific request about like how to make the images like load faster, or make terrain generate faster, or certain kinds of things. But generally speaking, it's very, very easy to like have an intuition about what is actually slowing down the program, and so you'll spend all this time like making these fancy algorithms to optimize something, and then you might find out that it doesn't matter at all, because where you thought the bottleneck was is not where the bottleneck is at all. My favorite Linux command is blank. Keeps showing up in my feed. blank is in general. Sprites costing 0 memory is literally impossible. Unless they're empty. Considering there are about 30 in one scene. My issue is memory usage. Average game on Hacks runs in megabytes. Hacks. I'm not familiar with that at all. But is that like a game kind of a WYSIWYG game maker type thing, or is it something where you write code? Because depending on no UI, text-based. So when your final game application, is this does this run on desktop? Like, is it a .exe file, or language it uses as Hacks? I would say the first thing I would look into is like how to do performance profiling with a Hacks application or game. Making a mobile game at the moment. Plenty of PC builds for Windows. Yeah, I would say that like number one thing is run it in a profiler, because there's a very high chance that what you think is the bottleneck and the source of latency is not the actual latency source. Fire chart profiler, isn't that a good way to visualize time of your app? There's lots of ways to visualize it. It can be very difficult. There's a huge learning curve usually to learn a profiler, I find. There's probably a different chart to profile. Memory usage versus time. Yeah, usually you can spend hours usually looking over your data. Issue is Hacks runs with OpenFL, so there's two libraries to look into with hundreds of tiles, hundreds of files. Could try that. See if it's possible. Yeah, I would say if you're like if you're serious about making a game, like if you're trying to make money off this or something, I would say look into like having performance issues and needing to work on that. That is definitely not, you are definitely not the first person to ever have performance issues in building a game. And assuming I'm not familiar with Hacks, but like assuming you're developing this with assuming that the game engine and the tool you're using to build this is like a serious application for serious programmers and serious games, there's definitely other people who have had this problem. And if you just Google for like what tools are they using, and you mentioned like some of it goes into do library calls and stuff. So definitely other people have had the same problem about like how do you get profiling, how to get profiling information for a Hacks application, and it may actually require a lot of like messing around and research and compile flags and settings and stuff. But once you get that data and you figure out how to like interpret it, that'll tell you like exactly where to focus your time. And then once you've done that, you can actually like quantify, you can see your progress in real time. So Robert, are you going to have to issue certs to clients of multiplayer block mining simulator games? Publish the centralized block mining simulator certificate authority. Maybe I'll have to eventually. trying to edit the sprite files themselves. flxsprite.hx. Yeah, I'm not sure. The other thing is like, and again, I'm not really sure. I don't know what the libraries and tools you're using, but if it's a serious library, it's probably already fairly optimized. So the issue might be that you are calling the, like, if you look at like a profile chart, you might see like 99% of the time is spent inside of some library function, but that might be your fault. Like you might have a loop that's, you know, spinning around on that as much as possible. Another piece of advice is like if your application is not doing anything, like if you're not receiving input and it's just idling, then when some people build games, they think that it has to be using 100% of the CPU at all times, but very often your application should be in a block state. So like when I run the terminal block mining game and there's nothing happening, basically every thread is at like 0% CPU. Everything is just waiting for data. So if you have like some kind of event loop in your game and it's constantly spinning around and it's constantly doing, you know, checking stuff, that is almost certainly a design flaw in the game. I've passed that HX file. I made it where if optimization mode is enabled, it sizes the sprites and rendered images by half. Get many complaints about my game running at high memory, especially for a sprite game. It could have memory leaks. That's a possibility. And that would be a thing to check. If you run it in a profiler and the total amount of memory consumed grows like steadily over time, then that means almost certainly that you have a memory leak somewhere, and you gotta, you know, figure out there might be some data structure you're instantiating and you're not freeing it, or it's some object reference being maintained. Issue is that I used an older version of Fixel. Most of the people who use the engine have a newer version. If I were to just get the right version, I would have to also update other libraries. Being OpenFL, yeah. Like I said, I would look into like profiling tools just so you can be 100% sure where the problem is. And then I'm not sure if it could also just be like general, like I said, issues with like design flaws in the game. Like if it's burning 100% CPU or the memory leak thing. Sky on Steam rolls his own game engine. I thought the whole point of sprites was to consume almost zero memory. Perhaps your sprites have way too high fidelity. Thought so as well. May have to dig deeper. Yeah, my bet is like you might have a memory leak. That's a very common thing. Or like you may yeah, again, you really need to look at it in a profiler, because like let's say you just launched it right now in a profiler. If you look at like the memory usage tab and like you just start playing your game, if the memory usage graph goes up continually, I'm going to say like 99% chance you have a memory leak. But if it goes up like a bit and then plateaus and then maybe like kind of bounces up and down, but it never goes, there's no monotonically increasing memory usage, then that's probably it's probably not a memory leak. Maybe it is too high resolution or something, or there could be some other. You might have a memory leak that's not with the sprites. It might be like some other. You're like opening a handle or opening an instance of something in a loop, and you're not closing it down. There's a thing called profiling. You'll only learn that today. Like I said, using a profiler is not necessarily something you have to use that often, but for certain applications, it's like when you have performance bugs. Yeah, like I said, if you're using a serious a tool that should be taken seriously, or like a platform like game engine, it should be possible to run a profiler with this. Otherwise, if the ecosystem you're building on is like so niche that it doesn't, there's no one has even tried using a profiler, then I would recommend switching to like a different language or libraries or whatever will allow you to do profiling, because that's a an important part of the development of user applications. Don't forget to give praise to new Axel Heiberg in your game when you find the fix. Didn't know? Now I know. There's another way to improve code beyond the seat of the pants. Yeah, for most applications, you really don't ever need it. But a game is an example of, I guess, one where you really do need a profiler. See you later. Yeah, thanks for stopping by. And with that, I will probably... Oh, actually, let me try and fix this. Incompatible types. Chunk memory state 56. Non-static method. Is this going to work? Illegal combination, abstract and static. Oh, it's a bummer. I thought that did work, but I guess it does not. Can't combine abstract and static. Gonna need you to fix Java. Yeah, I was hoping. I thought that might work. And I had added it. I'd added static and abstract before, and then I changed it. I didn't notice. I thought it was working, but it. Why does it need to be abstract? It needs to be abstract because things will extend. I want to be able to have like multiple different. I want to reuse this code for different things. So I want to be able to extend like the state. So state machine state is the generic, and then chunk memory state is the extended one. And in the state machine class, in the base class, I want to have like one. I want the base class to be smart enough to be able to get all the states at construction time, and then initialize them. They already fixed Java. It's called Kotlin. Me kicks Ortho at a chat for one day. How come? Okay, maybe everything I did with this entire stream is a waste of time if I can't get that to work. So it's got to be like static because I don't have an instance here. Just override it. Doesn't need to be abstract. Yeah, maybe that'll work. Thank you for that idea. Oh, but then it's not. Maybe this will work. Default can do nothing? Yeah, that might work. Overriding method is static. Static methods cannot be annotated with override. Unchecked cast. This is a different error. State machine. So Robert, did you ever give calzones a second chance? No, I haven't had another one since. They're not really. I wasn't too sold on them in the first place. I get if they had the right ingredients in them, maybe. But they're hard to find around here. Why is that an unchecked cast? Now is AI gonna give me a useful response? So it doesn't like that I'm casting this to you, but that's the specific type. What about that? Nope, didn't expect that to work. Since you already extends state machine state, couldn't you update the for loop initializer to use you instead of State, machine, state. That makes sense. Well, I guess it's just the same problem. That looks kind of weird code. What are we just calling it? State, machine, state, get all states directly. And you have to check if the instance extends you. State, machine, state dot get all states does exist, but it returns nothing. And what I actually would want is like chunk. But that's just one specific implementation of state, machine, state. I want to write it in a generic way so it works for all of them. Actually, let me go back to that. Key.cast. Class.cast. U dot like that. What core functionality you're working on tonight? Right now I'm working on like a generic state machine class. I'm gonna try to like make the memory chunk loading a bit more abstract. Like basically what I'm trying to build, what I have right now is a state machine, but it's just like I'm adding and removing from some sets, and there's bugs in it. Symbol cast not found. Makes sense. I didn't. Is the AI just lying to me? Class.cast. If you have access to the class object for the target type, you could use its cast method, which performs a checked cast. chunk loading related to the way the panes load the map data? Yes. Thinking. Check to cast. Runtime check. Traditional way. Class not cast. Oh, there we go. We just need like a helper method, basically. Set up a form. I need to get into chunk loading for Gaussian splats. Python is instance thing, not instance of. I think I have this. So what I need is basically like a helper method. So this will be getting there at the end of my to-do app. Nice. Oh man, that's a lot of work. It's crazier than I thought it would be. But more quickly, Java, it was get class. I'm doing it on like a generic thing. Yeah, I guess that I need an instance to do get class. That might be a way. Just have a nope. These compiles quickly. I assume that script runs and compiles and your test. No, actually, this does not run the tests. Capture 1 extends inference variable u has incomplete bounds. I was up there twice. That's what the AI gave me. I don't think I've seen that syntax before. That looks correct to me. Looks like no syntax errors. Okay, it doesn't like that. What about this? Incompatible types. Show one. Cannot be converted to class U. Seems to me I do this somewhere else. I've had this same problem before with generics. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've written code that does this before. I feel like I shouldn't have to keep doing that U extends thing over and over. Yeah, I don't know when I need to do that. What do we do if state instance of U conditional? I guess actually the main thing I'm trying to, like, I could just cast it directly and let it be a runtime error if it's not, but even though it never will. But I think if it's a warning and I have like fail on warnings, let me think. Class type.cast, okay. Okay, so that takes a class type T, class type.cast. Okay. Okay. And then that can be oh boy. Cannot select from a type variable. U not T. Hello, how are you? Not too bad. How are you? Okay, we're getting close. Cannot select from a type variable. I've never seen that error before. Okay, it's doing dot class. Chunk memory state dot class. Working on multiplayer? Yes, that's the arc. Although I'm getting stuck in the weeds on making the chunk loading work. So the way in the process to support the process of making multiplayer work, I'm going to make like local multiplayer work, and a snag in that is fixing the chunk loading model so that it works where you like basically have two local players that are loading chunks at the same time. And there's bugs in it in the chunk loading, which I never addressed and avoided before. So now I'm like kind of doubling down on trying to fix that. And right now I'm wrestling with generics in Java. Trying to make a generic state machine class. All right, it works in here. Class T, class type. It says cannot select a type variable, but that's not a type variable. Not that I know of. So close, but so far. If I can figure out how to pass that. Then I think I'm good. Okay, this here does. So this has maybe it works here because this has this is parameterized. Maybe you need to create a demo class just to get your head around this particular generics issue. It's too much work. That's what I do. Yeah, that's a good way to like really understand it. I think maybe it's because this is the difference. So I'm using this approach here, or successfully. Memory chunk state machine. Oh, that's because I don't know generics that well. I think I think what that's doing, I'm creating like a generic type called chunk memory state, which probably overrides. Head off. Have a good night. This does not even extend. It doesn't even extend to state machine. I guess I forgot to implement that yesterday. Raw type. Okay, I do something similar with work item queue owner. T extends work item. argument t not within bounds of type variable t. Inheritance with generics is crazy. Incompatible types. That's the same. Same error I faced before. Line 54. one's doing class T, that one's doing class U. Oh, maybe it has to be U extends. What's up, man? How are you doing? I'm being right now. I'm being defeated by the generics in Java. I was gonna only do an hour, but I got stuck on this, and I'm just like a one tiny change away from getting it to work. Incompatible types. What about that? Why don't you just use AI? I don't know. Would AI even solve this problem? I Google it and it comes up with like AI solutions and stuff, but like it seems like an AI would kind of know what I'm doing, but it doesn't completely solve the problem. I have solved it. I've basically solved this problem before in this application, but there's something, I guess, slightly different about this time. Unchecked cast. That was the whole problem I was trying to solve all along. Hello, what is this lives for? Like, what is its purpose? I don't know. There's a lot of potential answers to that question. Okay, it doesn't like that. chunk memory state can be converted to class U. Why not? Try DeepSeek. It doesn't have access to all this code. I guess this code isn't on GitHub, but it's too much work to use AI. Alright, I guess I may have to admit defeat for tonight. Alright, that'll be it for tonight. We'll come back tomorrow night and wrestle with this. Get it to some conclusion. It's pretty close. I think that thing I'm trying to fix, it's like a compiler error. I mean, it's just a warning. So there has to be some way to get this to work. All right, have a good night.